am so delighted today. We have with us a very special guest speaker. Catherine is one of the founders of this center those 7 years ago. But I asked her if we could begin with what we've been doing the whole time we've been looking at our values. We began 10 weeks ago with looking at each value that we've chosen as a community. And we're at our very final one. This is the 11th one. And we chose together the value of integrity, which was it tied with compassion for the 10th spot. So we decided we'd have 11. So we're looking at the 11th one today, which is integrity. And it's been such a joy to hear from all of you what your thoughts are about integrity. Those of you who took the survey and chose it, those of you who just have thoughts about it. What is integrity to us? What does it mean? What makes it hard for us? What makes it easy for us? Let's hear from Wendy.
Integrity to me is taking 100% responsibility for all that happens in my life, blaming no one for anything.
Wow, that's easy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a beautiful, beautiful definition of it. Who else wants to share about integrity? Oh, let's hear from Stephen and John.
Well, integrity to me really comes, I abide by this from landmark education. It's honoring your word as yourself. You know, it's being true to what you say, what you do. You know, like I said before with commitment, with the commitment one, it's all in. It's you're honoring your word as yourself. Yeah. And if you honor yourself, that's your word.
Excellent. Pass that down to John, would you?
Integrity for me is the consistency and the predictability about seeing everything in life, every person that we meet and every single situation that we encounter as opportunity, teacher, gift, and friend. Everything. Good, bad, and ugly, it's all good until it becomes so.
Oh, nice. That's nice, John. Thank you. Integrity. Usually this section over here, you have to fight them down to keep them from, pick me, pick me. Come on now. Anybody else want to say something? We got a couple over here. We'll hear from Mac.
My mother once told me that to be an integrity-based person, you should never do anything that you don't tell your grandmother about.
Ah, very good. Nothing you're afraid to tell your grandmother about.
To me, integrity is knowing that we are portals of God's prayer for everything to flow from the divine out. And like David said, you cannot even hide in the darkness. So everything that you say and do, whether you think it's seen or not, is seen by source in the divine.
And short and sweet, saying what you mean and meaning what you say.
Yeah, and everything we've talked about is very, very easy for each of us, isn't it? Yeah. Yeah, it's all of these values are challenging, aren't they? They're all challenges to stay in the center, to stay home, and this one is no exception. So I'm going to go ahead now and introduce to you Catherine Long. She is, I met her about 8 years ago now that we started working on this project called Center for Spiritual Living, and there were a group of us, 7 to 10 people that built this from the ground up, and Catherine was right there in all of it, the planning, the project management of it. She was our first core council chair for the first couple of years. And then she went off to find her fame and fortune. She got her practitioner license in Denver and now is a ministerial student living in Las Vegas. And she drives to Encinitas, California for her ministerial studies. So I was so pleased when she said she could come out and visit this holiday to, and of course to speak to us as one of the things they call internships for ministerial school. So please help me welcome our dear friend and always honorary member, Catherine Long.
I love you, Molly. So I was thinking of a joke, but I couldn't remember it, so it's not going to happen. What I do know is that it is wonderful to be here. It is so good to be here. One of the things that I found about Columbus Center for Spiritual Living, and I've been around a little bit, is the love that is here. It just pours out from everybody. It's really quite amazing. And so, yeah, I'm in Las Vegas, and I'm doing school and that sort of thing, but this is home. This is where I get, 50 hugs, 75 hugs, and looks like it's growing, so the next time I'm back, maybe 100 hugs. It's wonderful, fabulous. It's so good to see each and every one of you, truly. It does my heart so much good. That school and all of that stuff that I'm doing, and this is why. This is why. Because you're all such amazing, divine beings. And then Molly asked me to talk about integrity. I was like, really? Integrity? Of course, what showed up was some of not that. In some ways. But as we'll explore, it's all in integrity. So we are being in integrity to the extent that we act according to the values, beliefs, and principles we claim to hold. So as Molly was talking about, you all have been talking a lot about this, which is fabulous, because integrity is like who we are, who we say we are, what we believe in. And so, again, when Molly said integrity, I said, well, one of the things I believe in is that there's more than enough, that I have everything that I need to do and be all that I want, because that's the practice that I claim to have. And I do. I do, for the most part, do that. And then there's sort of this blind part that I don't see that's over here, and that I kind of got a feeling in my belly about, that I'm just like, oh, no, there's nothing over there. There's really nothing over there. Life is good. Look at all this right here. Life is fabulous. I don't really need to look at that over there. I'm happy and I'm joyous and things are going along just fine. So I know there's something over there, but I don't really need to look at that. But then as time goes on, I'm noticing that my joy and that my love and that my tiggerness, that bouncy, trouncy, fun, sort of begins to decline just a little bit. And still, I don't see this over here. I'm not going to look at it. Life is good. I don't need to go do all that work. And then your mentor says, integrity. Down it goes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, how am I going to talk about this? How am I going to do it? Well, I'm going to have to open this up a little bit. I'm going to have to step into the fullness of all that I am. The light and the shadow, the yin and the yang, the morning and the night. And when I think about it that way, there's something pretty sweet about that. At night, I get to rest, kind of in that quiet place, and I get to rest. So there's some shadow stuff going on there. And because of who I am, I said, okay, let's take a look. Well, I took a look, and then somebody knocked on my door and helped me look even closer. That's always fun, right? It's like, okay, I'll just look a little bit. Yeah, I know that's over there. I know that's been there for a while. And then somebody knocks at the door and is a representative of that, all of that kind of shadow. So then I'm faced with, okay, I need to look at this too. And that's a good thing. It pushed me through, if you will, that door to take some action that I was sort of playing around with and wasn't really willing to do, because I thought I had it all over here, and as long as I didn't look at it, everything would be cool. Well, that is not the way that it works. The seed in the ground has to set in the darkness, kind of like a little bit like this time of the year a little bit. It's kind of set in the darkness, and it's damp, and it's in the soil, and all this time it's putting its little roots into the ground, but it's dark and it's cold. And what it has to do is that shell around that seed that's protected it and kept it there has to fall away. In order for that to do it, the structure of it has to break down. So it has to rot. the outside of that seed has to rot. That's sort of how I'm seeing darkness right now. So when that seed and the shell of it falls away, guess what's inside? Woohoo! Some of that Tigger stuff, right? Tigger! That's exactly right. So it falls away, and it begins to fall away as the light begins to return, which is kind of this time of the year. And it falls away, and it shoots up, and it reaches for the sun, and then all kinds of wonderful things happen. It turns into a tree or whatever it's going to turn into. So that's kind of like me. It's kind of like us, right? Anybody ever have any integrity thing go on, you know, that you kind of got this feeling in your belly, and it's like something just ain't quite right here. And who we are is in charge of our life, as Wendy so well said to us. We're in charge of our life. This is who we are. I get to be at 100% of who it is I want to be. So when that Tigger energy isn't bouncing around and I'm not carrying on, I got to take a look and say, what's going on? And when I look, I say, oh, there's something here that needs to be addressed. And thank goodness. So then I can take a step into it and look around. You know, I did some journaling and stuff. I said, okay, what's going on about this hiding thing over here? And I'm afraid. I'm just afraid. And that's such a human, wonderful thing, just afraid. Sometimes that keeps us safe, and sometimes it keeps us away from things. But, okay, fear. I said, I can handle that. I've been with fear before. Right? We all have had that opportunity, I'm sure. And so I just did some journaling about it, and then I said, well, there's some steps I need to take, too. And, you know, as soon as I took that step, it's like that all opened up, and I was like, oh, I have an opportunity to be in integrity here. It's so wonderful. And then, you know, as a human being, I like to be in integrity, and I like to feel good, and I like to get some of that Tigger energy back and some of that joy. So I'm glad I took that step. And in that, I also noticed the compassion. I'm glad you brought that up, Molly. Right next to integrity is compassion. 10, then 11. And isn't that really what we need? I mean, that shadow side of something going on in our lives, what do we need to give it? We need to give it love and compassion. That seed needs love and compassion. It's sitting in the darkness, and, you know, it doesn't know what it's going to be next. It just knows there's all this stuff going on. So for myself, I need to give myself love and compassion. I need to be real gentle with myself about my judgments, about my darkness, because really it's my growth. It's my opportunity for amazing, amazing growth. So we are in integrity really, truly all the time, right? We got things going on, but we're really in integrity all the time. But let's not do a spiritual bypass, right? If there's something there and our tummies are feeling kind of a little funny about it, there's something there to look at. So I say employ compassion and just gently open that door and see what's there, and let it provide an opportunity to take us to the next level of integrity. Because truly we're divine beings. I think Wendy read this, and I think it's beautiful from Ernest Holmes, our founder of Science of Mind. There is that within every individual which partakes of the nature of the universal wholeness, and insofar as it operates, is God. There is within us that which partakes of the nature of the divine being, and it partakes of the nature of the divine being. We are, as it takes the nature of the divine being, we are the divine being. Our soul will never change or violate its own nature, that divine nature, right? All the denying of it will never change it. All the affirming of it will never make it more than what it is. So integrity, wholeness, completeness, we're already all of that. We were created out of something so wonderful and so magnificent that it populated the planet with individuals that it could express its life through everything. Absolutely everything. And I don't know about you, but everything, wow, that's a lot. I can't even hardly imagine everything. It's like everything, really? But if you just look around, I mean, even in your home with with your children, with your relatives, this time of the year, the lights, everything. It created everything and continues to create everything. It maintains and supports its creation. And it don't have nothing going on like, well, this ain't right and that ain't right. No. It's like, wow, look at life is exploring this way. It's sort of like this big bang, and right on the edge of life, it just keeps on expanding and growing, and every time we step out, something's there, something appears. And it's us. We are the ones. We are the ones. We are the ones that God created so it could have its life. It needs every one of us. Because really, there's only one of us here. Really, there's only one here, and that's God. And it's expressing in and throughout our lives in so many wonderful ways. And like here in community, what we get to do is share that with each other. Our ways of who we are being. That wonderful hugs, the loves of looking in each other's sparkly eyes. What a wonderful place to spend the holidays. I missed you guys. Thank you. So, we are whole, perfect, and complete. We don't get to do a spiritual bypass. We have light and we have dark. We have all of that. It's all of who we are, and what a wonderful, wonderful, wonderful thing. Hi, Janelle. It's quite a life, isn't it? Yeah? Yes. This is Christine where you go, woohoo. So we believe in the incarnation of Spirit in us, and that all people are incarnations of this one Spirit. We're back to that integrity, right? Back to integrity. It's who we are. It's what we are. It's how we show up in life. When you walk around, we have the opportunity to be as much as we can be. And sometimes, like I was talking about, that shadow self, we just need to uncover it. It's already there. It's always been there. It will always be there. Always. There's nothing you can do to take away from it. There's nothing you do to add to it. Right? Isn't that wonderful? Don't you think that's great? We have everything that we need. Kind of like that little seed that ends up growing up into that mighty oak. Everything that we need to have a wonderful, wonderful, magnificent life. And we got to do our work. We got to look at the little bit of the shadow parts and step into that. But I kind of think of that sort of that darkness as a sweet place too. I mean, just that opportunity for growth and for sitting in the silence and being quiet and being still. I have a little, it's like a poem that I love to share with you. And it goes like this, without my reading glasses. A Manifesto for Living by Hannah Brechner. Here's to the ones who were never normal, never conforming, never able to sink into the souls of a follower. Here's to the ones who were told to stop, to give up, to quit trying, to save themselves into a little box because the world would never need their arms stretched out and wide. Here's to the ones who refuse to listen, to be the negatives, to the naysayers, to the pessimists and the procrastinators. Here's to the ones who believe in a way and the newness within newness, and a world made to wash us and to move us and to sculpt us and to change us, and the courage it takes to believe in all those things. Here's to the ones who uncovered the recovery of darkness, who have cried on bathroom floors, who have found pockets of strength in cracks in the sidewalk, who have declared new days, brighter days, and lovelier days than this. Here's to the ones who say, I've moved on and I'm stronger now, and you never completed me. No, that never happened. Who believe in the wholeness even after breaking, who believe in better than ever, even after half half of them has eyes towards the neon exit sign. Here's to the ones who stopped trying to please others, to be perfect, to get smaller, to live in the lines, to color only the classics of red and blue and green within a lifetime that swoons over fuchsia and gold. Here's to the ones who believe in shoes and stories, yellow rain boots in any weather to parade through the puddles of passion. World-shaking heels, who believe in slipping into sizes too big and doing a little walk, a little trot, before saying, I know your story. Here's to the ones who live like a love letter, like a well-worn pair of leather ballet flats, like a Ferris wheel spinning and spinning, all the parts of it touching by great love stories, and boys who help girls on by the hand. Here's to the ones who laugh with thunder, cry within the mud, dance when the bagpipes of sorrow play. Here's to the ones who hear music even when the songs of childhood get stuck in their throat, stifled by fear. Here's to the ones who wear joy like a sweater, like a wedding dress you wish you wear, like a wedding dress you wish to wear while eating pancakes and Nutella. Here's to the ones who choose to be relentless with their purpose, with their ambition, with their desires, with their calling. Here's to the ones who know their calling and that it's greater than a cubicle or a paycheck will ever be. A calling to be a light, to be a lantern, to be a match in the darkness, a flashlight in a power outage, a bright star in the night that lost hope. Here's to the ones who pick up others, who need to believe, who do not need to believe in karma to understand humanity and how her wrinkles live on the face of others, the sick, the poor, the lonely, the downtrodden. Here's to the ones who said, enough, no more. Here's to the ones, and living your life fully and with integrity in all of it, in all that it is, the moments of sadness and the moments of giggles and laughter, the moments of friends, the moments of love. That would be us, folks. That would be me and that would be you, and I'm so grateful that you're here. And now I'd just like to take a moment, if you will, to do a prayer. So it is right here, right now, I recognize spirit, love, joy, peace, abundance, wisdom. And I recognize it here and everywhere. I recognize God in the rain, in the cloudy skies, in the darkness, in the earth, in the many, many hugs that I have received here today and will continue to throughout my lifetime. I recognize God as the allness, as the wholeness, that divine creator that continues to create everything out of its own life, out of its own joy, out of itself, because it loves its creation. It loves this life, this beautiful, magnificent life. And I know that it is within me. I know that this is who and what I am, because there isn't anything else. There is only God. There is not God and anything else. Therefore, that is what I am. And I know that that's true for everyone in this room. I know it's true for everyone in the world and beyond. God created them, sustains them, and maintains them as its beloved. So right here in this room, you are its beloved. Its love, its joy, all that it is really is what you are, because you couldn't be anything else. Can you imagine? Just for a moment. That love and that peace, that joy, that harmony that is within you. You are the light of the world. You make God whole. Without you, one would not be one. So I'm so grateful for each one of us, for all that we bring, for all the love, for all the light, and for the shadow. God bless the shadow. God bless it all. And with this, I just let my word go. I let it go. I let it be. For I know that it is already so. I just let it go. I let it rest. And together we say, and so it is.